All right, hey everybody, it's Cameron here from .text. So today I'm going to give you a little teaser of something that I call Stressed. And Stressed is a structured generation security system evaluating data. What that means is this is a AI agent that sits on top of your log files. So things that are generated by web servers, Apache or Nginx, databases, your system, whatever. So you can just sit this thing on top of your logs and it'll look at chunks of logs and tell you what's going on inside of them. So this demo is all available in our repo. We'll post a link to it in the description. But I'll just give you a little teaser and you can go through the code as you want. But what we're going to do is we're going to take logs that look like this. These are logs from an Iranian e-commerce site. They have an IP address, they have where people are trying to access, what the code return was, it's a 200, the user agent, all of this stuff that you might have to go through. There's entire companies that exist to help you parse through these logs. And we built like a little simple thing to kind of give you like a rough understanding of what's going on in your log, so that if you're a systems administrator, you can like look over there and be like, oh, okay, well, this is happening. And so we're going to take these logs and we're going to go from something like that to something like this. And we're going to get a log, like an analysis report, where the model is going to describe what it's seeing. It has like a severity, whether or not an administrator should take a look at it, some observations about the logs. It'll identify possible security events. So in this case, it's a suspicious post request, severity, etc. We can pull out log entries that seem to be related to security events, and common traffic patterns. So the goal here is basically to take these like ugly logs that we have and give them to like a very simple AI agent that functions like kind of a stressed out intern. So the good rule of thumb with any kind of AI agent system is to just say, could a reasonably intelligent intern do this? And looking at logs is actually a pretty good case for reasonably intelligent interns. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass logs, maybe 10 to 20 logs at a time, into our language model. And then we're going to run it through our structured generation pipeline here. This is the thing that we work on here at .text, is structured generation. And what we're going to do is we're going to extract everything that we might want to know about our logs. And we're going to get essentially JSON out. So what we have here is, if you look at this log, I'll give you a brief example of the code here. But if you look at the log analysis class, this is everything that we're going to pull out. So once we show our model the logs, we're going to get a log analysis object back. We're going to get a summary. That's this thing here. The logs show a mix of normal web traffic. That's a natural language description the model will fill out. We have a list of observations. I add a list of observations to help the model understand what it's observing, to kind of like summarize individual points. In this case, it's saying high number of requests from this IP, a lot of post requests to M update variation, multiple GET requests to product and filter URLs. Of course, this is standard behavior because this is an e-commerce site. We have some planning. I actually don't show this here, but adding planning steps and chain of thought and things like that can help your model understand a little more about what it's trying to output. And we use this in outlines because it's very easy to add a list of strings to a planning step that the model will return. We can also get a list of security events, and that's these things here. So security events have like a title, so it seems like it's suspicious post requests. It has severity, confidence levels, although I don't know that I would trust these confidence levels. It's just there to show you how to use floating point values. Source IPs, where it came from, URL patterns, possible attack vectors, stuff like that. And all of that stuff is defined as just a standard Pydantic class here as a WebSecurityEvent, which pulls out relevant log events, and relevant log events are these ones here, right? These are the actual logs inside of our log file that our model has identified as possibly being dangerous. Reasoning about why the event might be a security risk, how severe it is, whether a human needs to look at it, confidence scores, the the URL pattern that triggered the event, where the attacker is trying to go, what method they're using, the user agent, all of this stuff. These are things that you might want to know if you're a security administrator, right? And our language model can just go look at everything and then go look at all the logs and then return all the information that we asked in here. So, right, you can even get recommended actions. And like a previous version of this that I experimented with, I actually had it produce bash commands. And in principle, you can actually give your model access to a shell to see if it can address these security risks. I think that's a terrible idea, but it's kind of cool. So this is a web security event. This is one of the things that we're going to return. And then we also have web traffic patterns. And so a common example is you might want to work on, if you run a web server, you might want to know where people are kind of commonly going, right? Where are people looking? And there's lots of ways to do this with standard log analysis tools, and those are all awesome, but this is an AI version, so obviously it's cooler. But in this case, we're basically getting lots of people seem to be going to images. They're trying to post GET requests, so they're getting some type of image. We have three users who tried to get an image, and we returned 3 OK requests to them. So we can sort the requests based on the code that we return to them from the server. So you don't have to worry about that too much. But the point of this is basically that we just describe a shape, some kind of analysis of a log, and we get it back from our language model, and we can program with that. And if you look inside of the example here, this example code, again, this is all in the description, you'll actually get just log analysis objects. So you'll get a list of results, and then you can save those in CSV, you can upload them to a document store, you can put them in your CSV, any of that stuff. Note that we're doing analysis.summary, which is exactly the field log analysis.summary. So every single thing here is backed by JSON. It's just a text underneath, but you can do all this kind of interesting programming that you would normally want to do with any kind of object that comes out of a language model. So this is a really fun, interesting example that I got to do with structured generation, where I got to see how would I make an agent that's kind of useful? And it's been really fun to kind of watch it monitor things and kind of see what it observes. So if you think that this is kind of an interesting idea here, go check out the code on the repo. And I think we're open to suggestions or contributions. If you want to change stress to be a little more interesting or give it more personality or anything like that, it's very easy to do. So pull requests are welcome, comments are welcome, and I hope this was interesting. And yeah, it was really fun to work on this. So thanks very much for your attention.